Hey guys, what's up, Redactions here, and welcome back to this brand new karting video. This week it's time for round 2 of the Outdoor Sprint Cup at Kartcentrum Lelystad. Now, if you haven't seen round 1, I would recommend watching that. It's in the top right hand corner right now. I won't spoil anything about the race, but it was a good race. But if you have seen it, then you'll immediately notice that the camera angle is quite different and that I have added some nice widgets onto the screen so that you can see the track map, speed, g-forces and some other information. But without further ado, let's jump into a hot lap of this amazing track. Okay guys, so welcome to Kartcentrum Lelystad, a track at which I did a lot of laps back in the day. At this track it was very important to keep the momentum in the kart because, as you can see on the minimap there's a lot of hairpins. Coming into turn 1, this first one's flat, then you have to lift off a little bit for this one, let the back end not slide, then turn in sharply to this right hand corner. And here we get to the hairpins. I didn't do it here yet, but actually later on the day I discovered that taking the curbs on every single one of these hairpins actually improved apex speed. That's because the track next to the curbs is quite bumpy, and when you take the curbs you don't really feel the bumps. Then in this chicane, take a lot of curb, be very aggressive, take a lot of entry speed, then use all of this curb on exit. Then coming into the last hairpin here again, you don't have to take the curb on this one, but it is recommended. Take a lot of entry speed, and that's a very quick lap of Lelystad right there. Then another thing I wanted to share from the free practice. Here we were having a little bit of a ding-dong battle. The guy ahead of me decides to go up the inside. I try to follow him through, which actually happens there, but then the guy with the pink suit turns into my rear end, and then over here you can see I get a big jolt, and that was actually him completely smashing into my rear there. I don't know why he did that. As you can see here on the replay, he actually turned into the guy ahead of me as well, and then he turned into me. I guess he just wanted to take some revenge, but the funny thing is I didn't suffer any consequences from that. He spun, he actually bruised his ribs, and then he eliminated himself for the rest of the day because he bruised his ribs. So that's pretty funny, I guess. Moral of the story, don't be a hot-headed guy in karting. Okay guys, so welcome to the first race. We don't actually get 5 red lights here because the 5th one's broken, so it's 4 red lights and away we go. I didn't get the best getaways, as you can see there. I already lost the place. Here I wasn't sure where to go, inside or outside, and the guy, the number 29, was pretty slow, so I decided to just stick behind him. Here we get a little push, and the guy who pushed us on the left there, but we kind of bluff him off and we keep our 8th place for now. So in these first laps, if you are like close to a group, which I am not right here, it's either overtake or you're the one getting overtaken. So here I was lucky enough that I had a little bit of a gap behind me. And if you look right here, we actually get another push. The guy behind us really wanted to give us the hurry up, but we keep our place. And oh yeah guys, by the way, the stat box on the right there with the altitude and stuff, don't look at that too much, that's pretty inaccurate. But cutting all the way to the end of lap 2 now, should have probably gone for the dive bomb over there on the number 29, but we actually get quite a good run out of the hairpin, so let's see if we can get for a move here up the inside. No, we hit the curb and he keeps it around the outside. So at this point he knew I was like right up his rear bumper and he started defending here. So I knew I kinda had to surprise him, maybe dive bomb him into a corner, which he did not expect. This one was a good opportunity for that, but because the braking zone over there is so short and well, the piece between there is very low speed, that's not really a good one. But then over here I'm actually further back than the previous time, but we absolutely send it up the inside there. We make a little bit of side-to-side contact, but side-to-side contact is actually okay in this sport. Here I give him the signal to follow me and chase the group ahead of us, because I actually lost a lot of time fighting him, here cutting to lap 7 already. You can also see there that I am able to take a lot more entry speed than the other drivers, and I actually run into the back of the number 22 there. You can also see on the right of her kart there that there is a part hanging loose, and that was quite a common thing for this day. Sadly, the karts weren't really properly managed and there was quite a big time difference in terms of lap time between them. But coming back to this race, the number 22 driver ahead of me, she has a reputation for being very hard to overtake, so I knew I had to surprise her. Here you can see she goes defensive. But because of that she gets a poor run and I absolutely dive from her into this very slow hairpin. I almost lost the kart there, as you can see. I had to correct a little bit, but we got her, P6. So we're now 1 place ahead of where we started. And I knew I was quite a bit quicker, so I didn't really have to defend here. But here you can see I ran a little bit wide, taking some sand. But still, the gap I had was large enough in order for me to keep my 6th place. So here, coming up to lap 12 already, we're behind the next driver. This driver is actually one of the organizers of the event. Usually the other organizer of the event also takes part, but this time he was taking photos. But here he gets a poor run out of this last corner, and we just do a very clean move into this corner, no love lost there. But I knew he was very quick, so I had to defend for the next couple of corners and laps. That's actually quite a dirty but useful, well, it's not dirty, it is allowed. It's just a smart technique to use. I knew I wasn't going to catch up to the guy ahead of me. There was just too little time in the race, so I just absolutely started parking the bus everywhere and allowing the driver behind me to catch up, so that they could get into a little bit of a battle. And as you could see here, it worked. Cutting to the last lap, I'm still in P5 and I didn't have to defend anymore. Taking these absolutely bumpy curbs, but thanks to our new hyper smooth option enabled on the GoPro, that doesn't shake up the footage too much. But here we finish in P5, which is actually a P2 in my group. So that's a very nice result. Parking the kart over here back at the pits. You can see the next group of people is already ready to get in, and now we will skip to race 2. Okay guys, so welcome to race 2, waiting for the 8 red lights to go on again. So here they are, and away we go. You can see here that we actually get quite an amazing start. We're already up into P3 now, maybe getting up to P2 if we can take this guy up the inside. Yes we can. A little bit of contact, but that's okay. So it's now time to get our head down and see if we can get P1. But as you can see here, he gets an absolute shocker out of his corner and we pull alongside. We will have the outside for the next corner, but we will try to hold around the outside. He's still there on the left hand side, but we keep it around the outside, and into this next corner we actually keep P1. So from now on it is time to get our head down and pull away from the field for as much as possible. You can see the tires are still a little bit cold. I'm sliding all over the place, but I got fairly lucky at this point because behind me they were absolutely having a massive ding-dong battle. I actually saw that because I looked behind me, which you cannot see on camera, and I pulled away in an absolute treat. Like here, I was like 10 seconds ahead of the next big group behind me, but what you cannot see on camera is that P2 actually came loose from that group and is right up my rear bumper. As you can see there, I was defending. Here I had to defend again. Here you can see him, he's already pulling alongside me, but we actually keep P1 here. Yeah, as I said in the last race, the difference between the karts was quite big, and that's something you could see here. My kart, the kart I had in the previous race was okay, but this one actually had quite a bad engine. So I kind of felt like Fernando Alonso here with the GP2 engine. Going on to lap 9 now, as you can see on the right there, he's actually able to pull alongside us on the straight while we were just having a normal racing line. We actually briefly lost P2 there, but we were able to bluff him off on the outside there. Here I just had to defend for my dear life. He was getting impatient, and as you can see here we get a little bit of a love tap and he sends it up the inside. Well, it's kind of understandable. I probably would have done the same thing. Just a little push to help someone offline is actually not really that uncommon in karting. So I didn't really have any hard feelings for him. But here you can see I'm right behind him taking a normal racing line. I'm in his slipstream and just look how much he pulls away. I mean, that's not even fun to race against. Well, you could argue that it's unfair, but I have some bad news for you. Motorsport is and will always be an unfair sport. You just have to make the best of the given situation. And over here you can actually see in these hairpins I'm actually quicker than him and I'm able to keep up with him. So here we're actually right up his bumper again in the slow parts. So I was thinking if I could maybe make a move here, I could get P1 back. So as you can see here I'm actually right up his bumper again, but once the straight comes, which is over here, he just pulls away like a couple of car lengths. And here I was desperately trying to keep up with him on the straight, but there's only so much you can do. Here cutting forward actually a little bit later to lap 11, we can actually have a little go up his inside here, but we're just a little bit too far away to make the move stick. Here he makes a little mistake in the chicane. We're even closer this time and I decide to absolutely go for it and send it up the inside. But again, he was just a little bit too far away, and because of our compromised line there, and his insane straight line speed, he pulled away and I wasn't able to make a move again. Here we almost lost the back end there. Well, we got P2 on track overall, but it actually didn't matter because the guy ahead of us is in a different group, so we actually got P1 in group. Here I was just congratulating him on the win. He thanked me for the nice battle, and here he actually told me this kart was insanely quick. So, race 3, let's go. Okay, so coming onto the grid for race 3 now. Coming out of the pits, I noticed that this kart had engine issues. So I asked the race officials for a new one, and the start got delayed because of me. And there you can see my new kart arriving in style. So yeah, let's hope this thing actually does have an okay engine, so that we can get the last few points we need for the race win of the day. Because P1 and P2 in group meant that we only needed a few points for the race win. So let's go. As you can see there, quite a busy start, starting in P19. I decided to hang back a little bit for the first few corners, because usually the first few corners are chaos. As you can see there, the number 7 getting a little bit excited there, also trying to gain some places. So at this point I decided, okay, it's time to attack. But as you can see there, the other karts are pulling away on the straights, and I immediately noticed that this kart also had engine issues. Actually the same type of issue it had, the last one had. Coming out of the corners, it just didn't respond to the throttle pedal. And yeah, on the rest of the ear you can see me like, what the hell is going on? Almost dropped an F-bomb there. But yeah, just look at this. I believe like top speed of this kart was down by about 5 to 10 kilometers per hour. Which is 10 to 20% of the speed in total. Here you can see the back markers ahead of me were actually having a little bit of a battle. We briefly get up to P18, but instantly get demoted back to last place again. And here I just noticed that this race was going to be an absolute shit show. I still wanted the last few points to get the race win of the day, but I just knew that wasn't going to happen. Here the engine actually started breaking down completely. It just didn't accelerate anymore at all. So I decided it was time to pull into the pits. Here you're barely getting up to 50 kilometers per hour there. I decided to pull into the pits and get a new kart. Yeah, the guy ahead of me actually had the same issues. So I actually thought of retiring completely here, but then the officials said no, you can get into that kart and rejoin the race. But by this time I was already like, I think I was 2 laps down actually. Well, the guy ahead of me had the same issues. He actually got an okay kart, but believe it or not, this kart I got, which was the 3rd one, had the exact same fucking issue. Yeah, well, yeah, just look at the top speed over here. You should get up to about 60, a little bit over 60 kilometers per hour, but this kart, well, it barely managed to get over 52 or 53. The GPS isn't that accurate here. I just knew that this race wasn't going to be anything anymore, so I just took a nice little leisure drive around this track, taking my hands off the steering wheel, and yeah, this race was just an absolute shit show. I'm sorry to you guys that I couldn't provide any more content on this race, but that's just literally all that happened. 3 karts in a row with engine issues. Well, that's all down to the track just not maintaining their karts properly, and well, my bad luck actually completely threw away my race. So yeah guys, that was not really the race we were after. Luckily I did get enough points to get a podium, and with that result I think I am actually leading the championship right now, but I'm not sure since the officials have not updated the championship standings yet. Anyway, that was it for this week's karting video. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing. It really helps me if you do that. There are 2 videos on screen right now that you might enjoy, but for now, I'll see you next week. Peace.